Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm playing Mrs. Thatcher's War, the Falklands, 1982. This is a solitaire game designed by Ben Madison and published by White Dog Games. I got a copy of this probably about 6 months ago, and just recently have been going through the rules, and yesterday I decided I would set up a learning game, and I played through all of turn 1, which took me a little while because even though this isn't a complicated game, there are a lot of steps involved in resolving a turn. It's a very procedural game, and so you've got A through J items in the detailed sequence of play. And although you don't necessarily do all of these things every turn, it depends on the situation on the board, there are a lot of potential moving components, and so it takes a little while to become familiar with that. I think probably after a full game, you would likely become more comfortable with the flow of the game, and the pace would pick up. But right now, I'm kind of slow in learning. So I thought it would be an interesting exercise to maybe look at one small piece of this game, that being the air battle procedure. So at this point in the game, this is largely about air and sea superiority. The British ground support units, they don't actually land until turn 7. They'll land in San Carlos. But right now, predominantly what we're doing is in the air. And I have 2 air encounters that I'm facing right now. One in Air Sector C. These three red tokens are British Harriers, and these 4 light blue tokens, those are Argentine jets. And over here I've got 3 Harriers from another carrier and 2 Argentine jets that they're facing. So why don't we jump into that and see how that resolves, and that might give you a little taste of Mrs. Thatcher's War. So the very first thing you do in air battle procedure is determine sides. That essentially just means who is the attacker and who is the defender. So in the case of this air sector, the British Harriers moved into the air sector, so they are the attackers. The second step is a call to ground support. So we'll start with the Argentine units. They can reach out to their ground units for support. And there are 2 ground units in Air Sector C, each one giving +1 level of ground support. So ground support starts at level 0, and they get 2 levels of ground support. That takes them up to the maximum that they can get. And that will add 5 strength points to their overall pool for attack. And the pool is determined by the numbers on the tokens. So there are 10, 15 points of strength here on the Argentine side, +5, so that'll be 20 for Argentina. The British can do the same thing, but unfortunately, as I said, there are no ground units for the British yet. So the Harriers are on their own, and there are 3 at 7 each, so that's 21. Next step is to get ace reactions. So some of the units are aces. The Argentine Air Force has 1 ace named Donadillo, and he is currently out of operation. Earlier this turn, he was knocked out to the repair pool, so he's not here on the board currently. The British, however, do have one. That's him right here, Morgan, and he is denoted by having a name here. So he has the capability of coming to assist this battle, and I think we're going to do that, because right now I said there's 21 points for the British and 20 points for the Argentines. That's pretty close. So this will sort of balance out things a little bit better for us. So now it's 28 to 20. And at this point, we just do the math. We calculate the odds. And to do that, I like using a calculator because I just find it's faster. And you take the total attack strength pool, which is 28, divide it by the defenders, which we said they had 20, and then you get a result. 140%. So attack strength is 140% of the defense strength. Now you look at this attack battle or air battle results table, and 140 is not quite 150, but it's more than 100. So this is the column that we'll use, and we'll roll 1d6 to figure out what kind of result we get. So let's go. We will roll, and we got a 2. So under the 100% column, a 2 is ABOP. Now, what does that mean? ABOP indicates attacker breakoff, and there's a possibility of pursuit. So that was a low roll. That 2 was not good for our British friends here. So what happens is the defenders win the battle, and the attackers are run off. They retreat. Whenever the British retreat, they retreat over here to the right towards Stanley. If the Argentine units ever have to retreat, they'll retreat over here towards the left, and that's sort of always how they do it. Now, I said there was a chance of pursuit. The Argentine player, or the AI, I guess, will leave behind the 2 lowest strength units. So that's this 1 and this 4 to maintain air superiority in this sector. And then any other units can potentially go and pursue those British Harriers. But they'll only do that if they can calculate odds of 200% or higher. At 28 points of strength for the Harriers, that would be 56 points for the Argentines. They would need 56 points of overall strength, including ground support, in order to pursue them. They have 10, and that 1 would give them 3, so that would be 13, nowhere near 56, so they're not going to pursue. They're going to stay back here in air sector C and maintain air superiority in that sector, while Morgan and the 3 other Harriers here will establish air superiority in air sector D. That is that particular engagement complete. And now we can move over to air sector E and do the same thing here. Starting at step 1, we determine sides. I mentioned that the British Harriers were the attackers, and that's still the case. Now we call for ground support. Again, the British don't have any ground units. They have another way of gaining support here with naval gunfire. If there was a naval ship here, they could provide naval gunfire support, but that isn't here now. So again, the Harriers are on their own. The Argentine jets, they do have 3 ground units. So 1, 2, that's the maximum ground support they can get. So they will get 5 additional points. Added on to the 12 for the jets, that's 17. The British ace can come back and join them. So now we have 21 on the British side and 17 on the Argentine side. So once again, we bring out the calculator. 21 divided by 17 is 124. Not quite the 150 that we would need to reach to this column. So again, the British will roll on the 100% column. And we'll do that now. Ready? 1. It's typical. So a 1 on the 100% column, AE. That means attacker eliminated. Worst possible roll that they could have got. The attackers have been eliminated. That doesn't mean they're destroyed. It just means that they've been shot up enough that they're going to the British repair pool, and they can come out again in the future. But for this turn, they're gone, and these 2 Argentine jets have air superiority in air sector E. And that's it. That's how you resolve an air battle. There are a number of other possible outcomes, including dogfights and exchanges and pursuits where maybe some jets will chase others down across the East Falkland Island. But in this case, it was a little more cut and dried. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions or if you noticed anything that I did that wasn't right, let me know.